Greetings to everyone. My name is Sergio, and I would like to show you a very nice game. This is a rapid game. It's a 10 minutes game with no increment. This is becoming my favorite time control because the game is not too lengthy and also is not too short. In case of a blitz game or a bullet game, it is exciting, but you have a chance to make more mistakes and blunders. So when it comes to rapid, it's for me, for now, it's a perfect balance between excitement and good moves. I play white. I start with e4. Black replies with a6, d4, and d5. So this is the French defense. Takes, takes. This is the exchange variation. Now c3. h6. Now bishop to e2. c5. I always capture this pawn when I have the opportunity, because it leaves black with an isolated pawn, which will later become an object of white's attack. So black has a liability. So he has to be very careful on how to play. But he gets activity for this. So I continue. Knight to f3, knight to f6, castles and castles. Okay, so now developing the knight to d2, knight to c6. I bring the knight closer to b3, attacking the bishop, but that's not a problem because he just retreats, and he's on this very nice diagonal, looking straight at my king. Only the f2 pawn is between them, and as I said, he's on a very nice diagonal, a7, g1, and it's not easy to kick him away from there. Rook to e1. Now bishop to g4. And with this move, I'm inviting black to exchange some pieces, because if you see visually now, all his pieces are developed, and white has lack of space, so therefore it's a good idea to exchange the pieces and bring the white pieces into the game. So takes with the rook. I was also thinking to take with the knight, but then I decided to take it with the rook, because the knight on d4 is nicely protected by the knight on b3, as well as by the queen. So in case if for example, if I take, then takes, and takes, I'm doing fine now, and there will be some ideas of capturing the pawn on h6 later on. So white could become vulnerable. But after rook captures on e2, now black is also inviting to exchange the rooks, which I do. Takes with the queen. Now bringing the bishop into the game, adding some protection on the knight. Now queen to e4, and this is okay. Now I'm attacking the queen. He moves it away, and again I'm attacking the queen with knight to f3, and now queen to h5. So if you look at this visually, black has a perfectly fine position. He has the initiative, and white needs to do something about it. So h3. Now black is bringing his last piece into the game, and now his attack looks scary. Okay, now I bring the queen to d2, nicely aligning it with the bishop, and opening the way for the rook on a1 to come as well into the game. So immediately after I played queen to d2, I saw this move, and I thought like, oh yeah, it was coming. So okay, now moving the queen away to c2. Okay, now my opponent, and this is it's not a mistake or anything, but it's opening the king a little bit more, and there was maybe some other ideas for black to play in this position. However, he decided to play a f5, and now it's time for me to bring the rook into the game. Now f4, and with this move I spent some time because I wasn't sure should I take it and what's the trick for black to play. I decided to take it, and black took the knight on d4. I took the knight again, and now queen to h4. Well, in case he would take the knight, again this would be a good position for both of us, but that's not how the game continued. So after queen to h4, I'm attacking the queen, and he captures it with the knight. But also what's important to notice that the queen on h5 was protecting the black rook on e8. So when he moved, when my opponent moved the queen to h4, he left the rook unprotected. Okay, and after take the bishop, I captured with check, and this is already a huge advantage for white. However, still it's not yet a winning. It is a winning position, but still there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of life still in the position. So I took the bishop on g3. I'm attacking the queen. If the queen moves, there's no intermediate move would check, so his queen is under attack, and also I can move away my rook after he moves the queen. So he captures the knight with check, and now I was thinking to capture, but then capture here, and then this would be an equal position, because after I retreat, then captures the rook. So yeah, now the pawn on d5 is actually an advantage for black, because he will be able to push it, and the queen is nicely supporting it. The black queen is in the middle of the board. It protects the g7 pawn, the a7 pawn, the d5 pawn, and everything is fine. However, I did not take the bishop, but I put my king in his home, and he's nicely protected by the 3 pawns that surrounds him. So now in this position there's 3 pieces hanging, which is the black queen, the black bishop, and the white rook. Of course, black has to move the queen, which he does. And now again, what to do here? To capture the bishop and then to leave my rook available for picking up by the black king. Of course, I didn't do that. I moved the rook to b8. So now the black bishop is still under attack, and also the pawn on b7 is going to fall after white is retrieving with the bishop, and also he's attacking the rook on b8, and also eyeing that pawn on g3. And this I believe this is the best move in the position. Now after takes the pawn with check, king has to retreat back, and now I prepared the move queen to e8 with check, and then following with the attack. Now black is of course preparing a capture on g3, which will be followed by queen to h2, and then I believe it would be a draw after that. And also he's protecting the pawn on the square on e8, which does not allow the queen to land there with check. So of course I defend the pawn on g3, and also I'm eyeing the square on d8 with check. Now black is running away with the king. Okay, I take the pawn on a7, and again this is a winning position, but still I have to be careful because most of the mistakes happen when, as they say, the most difficult game to win is the one game. So I'm offering a trade of queens, and of course he's not interested in that, because if takes then takes. Okay, it does give me a triple pawn on the g file, but that's in no way a bad pawn structure for white, because for sure the pawns on h6 and g7 cannot be advanced, and also I have three passed pawns on the left side of the board, so black didn't go for that. Instead he put the queen to g3. Now I'm preparing a little trick, because if you see the rook is eyeing, is nicely placed on the seventh on the seventh rank, and after black moves the pawn, I'm capturing the bishop, and this is a mistake, because the queen cannot be taken, because the pawn is pinned. Okay, and I believe in this position my opponent resigned. He captured the pawn and then he resigned, because obviously it's just checkmate in one. So yeah, that was the game I wanted to show you. I hope you liked it.